Hi, Decoders. It's me, Kiran Trace. And in this week's episode, we're going to decode purpose. It is this weighty, heavy cross most of us are bearing. And we don't have to make such a big deal of it if we deeply understand where that impulse is coming from. So with the brilliant Leela Sutter and Cami Carlow, we're going to decode this with you guys. Let's begin. Hi, I'm Kiran Trace. Welcome to Humans Decoded, a story of hobbits, fairies, elves, dwarfs, gnomes, and humans. If you get lost at any point, there is a deep dive on all the different avatars in episode 1. It includes notes. Thank you for joining us in a fun little chat about the vast potential of our human makeup. Hi, Cami.
Hey.
Hi, Leela.
Yeah, maybe you guys also thought about what's my purpose? What am I doing here? What's the point of existence? And it just feels something important, something you need to know. You need to know why you're here, what you're doing. And if you don't have an answer for these questions, it feels like, oh, fuck, I already failed.
Exactly. You could be having the loveliest day, enjoying the sunshine, and then this thought occurs, what is my purpose? And it just shits all over your day. It can be such a burdensome notion. It's so heavy. It's so charged. What is my purpose?
You know, I was so surprised when I first started teaching. So many people I was talking to had this heavy weighted story about purpose. And honestly, it caught me by surprise. I was just like, really? Really? Because I was sort of like, dude, don't get stuck there. Eventually, I did just make a course. It's a really small course. It's 7 days. I mean, it's a brilliant course. It's great. It was just like, get all these questions out of your system so we can move on to what is much more important.
Yeah, I love that. Take that little precursor so we can get to the real stuff, because it's just such a drag. It's not worth getting stuck there.
No, God, it's just not. Because the pain that they're feeling isn't this lack of purpose, of course. It's the fear of worthlessness. And that's going to be much, much deeper down in the system. And it's one of those core baggages we're carrying around. But if you're up on the surface in this mental, sort of inquire, what is it? Where is it? How do I get to it? How do I make it happen? We're not looking at the root. We're not looking at where it's really coming from. So that's where it's like, don't get stuck in that loop of purpose. But it's very sticky.
Oh, it's alluring.
Definitely. Because when you're not stuck there and look at the actual thing, this belief of I'm worthless, ooh la 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 la, that's hot. That's pretty fiery, isn't it? And I mean, I spent, I don't know, a couple of years with that belief. And it was that conviction that I'm unworthy, fundamentally unworthy, that had me looking for purpose far and wide. And she was just convinced that if I'm going to take another course, if I'll get another certificate, maybe I'll find my purpose. Maybe I'll get to worthy. And I remember at the time I was sending a friend of mine almost daily updates of further education shit I could do. I'm so sorry. But it was this frantic looking of where is it? Where is it? And I mean, ultimately, looking back, I didn't really learn anything there, in these courses. I guess I just learned that if you initiate from this belief system, it's not going to do much for you. It was just a waste of money, time, and energy.
It's why I don't offer a teacher certificate program with my master classes. Like, I'm not on board with the one more certificate situation is going to get you. You'll suddenly become special.
Sidebar, when I first found Kiran, one of the first things I did was scroll to her website to find out how long it would take me to get a certificate. Because I did want a thing, like proof. Finally, I'm worthy.
Of course. Yeah, this conviction that purpose is somewhere out there. It's somewhere in the diploma. It's somewhere in the thing you can hold. It's certainly not just here. That couldn't be.
And I have so many friends that are also plagued by this. I can think of one who's an amazing, unbelievably talented photographer and videographer, and she makes these like soulful, beautiful videos, and like her pictures are, she's just got like, it's unbelievable work. But then she'll be like, I'm not saving the planet. I need to stop.
Yeah, it's like she who wants to have a purpose. She kind of needs a statue somewhere in the city so she can know she did something, she accomplished something, she'll be remembered. She kind of, she saved the world in one way or another, and she had an impact on the world. And it just reminds me of this podcast workshop I did with my colleagues, not you guys, another podcast I'm doing in Switzerland. And we were asked, like, why are you podcasting? What's your motivation? And most of them said, I think I have something to say to the world. And to me, that sounded so incredibly funny.
Right? Like so already there's this big I. Yes. Have something to say. Like, what do you have to say? And then to the world? Like, who's that? But we don't really look at that. Like, that program runs. It's so familiar.
Speaking for myself, I was crippled, absolutely crippled for the first 30 years of my life, feeling that I didn't know my purpose. Like, it felt like such a big deal that I didn't know this one thing that I could do, dedicate myself to, and would make me worthy or valuable in the world. And funnily enough, as a fairy, it's probably not even appropriate to have one thing. Like, sort of an authentic movement would be to have a ton of things, but I didn't know that back then. But yeah, I so relate with this weight, like this burden that unless I know what I'm doing, I'm just completely lost. And also very fairy-like, that led me to just collapse. So I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just going to curl up and not do anything at all.
Well, meanwhile, in your collapse, there's a voice screaming, do something, do something, do something, do something.
Yeah, it's not a comfortable place. It's like being literally crippled by that voice. Yeah. And the funny thing is, I thought finding my purpose would be the thing that would finally liberate me. Saying it out loud is funny because what a ridiculous notion. Because in some ways, entirely the opposite was true. So through years of amazing coaching with Kiran, what I started to discover was that the purpose was just very, very small, like actual tiny moments of what felt good, what felt true and authentic to my being. So we call that delicious yes, like what's alive in this moment? What's the moment already sort of bringing you? Like, what's the fruit of this moment? And so it led me to this mantra, this truth statement I used to say to myself over and over again. Your purpose is a nice meditation, a sweet coffee in the morning, your favorite sweater.
It's so sweet. I really love that, because when we're talking about what it would feel like to be in purpose, you're talking about this sort of full utilization of yourself. But when we're actually bringing ourselves fully into this present moment, right here, right now, like here, the answer of what's fully utilized is unique, spontaneous, and different in each moment. It can just be as simple as like this sweet, warm coffee and that perfect sweater. It can be, so simple as like sweeping a deck or an idea flow that's running through or a spontaneous, friend at a sandwich shop. Like the moment is coming underfoot to meet you in the utilization of a moment. So it's not about the me. And I think there's this basic assumption in the purpose question, right? Which is that I don't have it and I have to find it and I have to become it. And,
Mm.
I met this wonderful, wonderful man, and he was just burning with this, like, I need to find this purpose to, like subtext, save the world, save the world, save the world, And he just couldn't see the wound of worthlessness under that, because the pain body of worthlessness is devoid of the very reality you're pointing to, Cam. Like this moment. What is this moment? Right here, right now. That's reality. That's where all of life is meeting in this one frame of your being and your body and your system and the listening for what's true there. And so this pain body of worthlessness that's screaming to you, do, that's screaming to this lovely dude, like, where is my, like, how do I save the world? Like all of that's so devoid of reality.
Mm.
And it's actually kind of killing the life out of your own existence. Which ironically, I mean, that's the purpose. That's the fundamental first purpose, is that you exist. But worthlessness just wants to like puke. If it's that simple, if it's just this moment,
Ew.
if it's not here, because it's so desperately driving to become something and so desperately to be heard, to be seen. And ironically, like the being is already seen. It's already being heard. Like right now, listening to this podcast, the three of us chatting, like we're seen, we're heard. And it's so dominantly so. It's so true that it doesn't need to announce itself. It doesn't need to feel like something special. It's like that fish in water sort of thing. Like it's like the fish is looking for the water everywhere, but it's because it's so prevalent. Your very existence is where reality is meeting you. And if we can hear that, then we bring all that life inside of it. But worthlessness is running this whole movie that you're going to play a pivotal role in saving your community, your family, the world, whatever that is. And that movie has got no basis in reality.
And listening to you, Kiran, I love the pointer you're giving that purpose isn't necessarily this one thing. Like unworthy is looking for one thing that then is my purpose and I can hold it and I can have it. And that's what I'm doing, right? But it's much more fluid than that. It's much more of the moment than that. So it's not one thing that's your purpose. It's always in you, in every moment. It's fresh. It's something different. I love that. And I think that's kind of what pulled the plug of my unworthy looking for purpose. This just landing more and more and more and more in this truth of just being just this moment, nothing else. That's it. And I remember there was a moment on my bike that was really pivotal for this whole thing. And it felt like there were all these tendrils unworthy had in my life. And it was just weaving this pretend sort of structure that's holding everything together. And the analogy that's, I think it was there already, but it's coming to my mind now. It's like Swiss cheese with the holes. And in every hole, there's tons of maggots. And the maggots are pretending they're the ones holding the cheese together. And in truth, and that's what I saw on the bike in Zurich, it was a couple of years ago. It's not them. It's the space, it's the emptiness, it's oneness itself that is holding it all together, that is sort of holding life. It is life, basically. And so, very simply said, I saw everything is held. There's unworthy doesn't have a job to do there.
It's like the holes in the Swiss cheese, like that hole, that emptiness in the Swiss cheese is actually creating the Swiss cheese. Not
exactly. Not the maggot.
I don't know if in the US we know about like maggots on cheese much, but I love the analogy. I'm totally rolling with it. If the maggot is the pain body.
And just seeing it so clearly that they don't have a job. The tendrils of unworthy aren't what's holding reality together, basically. That just made it so much easier to not try to hold anything, to not believe her, especially, to not keep running for, another certificate. And where's my purpose? It must be out there. To let go of her stories. And then seeing it all so clearly, it's like, oh, yeah, purpose just is, like Kiran said, your existence. It's inbuilt. Purpose is inbuilt. That's it. It's here. It's just in this present moment. And then the moment just has a fullness to it if you allow yourself to kind of sit down in it in a way.
It's funny you mentioned your big epiphany on the bike, because I think it was around the same time I also had a big moment of seeing the cheese. As in, for me, there was a very marked before and after having this epiphany and making art. And I remember basically post-awakening, it just became a completely different experience, pretty much centered around curiosity. So I just sit at my desk and it was just the sheer joy of sitting there, being with the materials, texture of the paper, pen in my hand, maybe a pastel or a paintbrush. Like, that was it. There was no more plan than that. No more agenda, no more strategy. It was just like, this feels so delicious right now. And then art became about just playing and making these marks that kind of come from the moment. And it's so incredibly more alive.
Yeah, when worthlessness isn't making the marks, the drawings, then those marks and drawings have a life within it. That life is literally playing with you with the marks on the paper. Because when worthlessness starts to draw, when it's trying, when we're trying to make something important, it's now devoid of that life, right? Like, ironically, that will bring about the same fear that is initiating the mark, right? Like, I'm needing to do something, make something, create something, because the subtext underneath is because I am not worthy. And so then every mark, every try, every effort, every doing kind of embodies that very story of being worthless. Like, you've pulled it away from the moment, away from where the life was, and put it into this, total false story. And then it sort of plays itself out. Well, then, yes, you can't be heard, you can't be seen. It's like no one gets the drawing, like, it doesn't make sense. Because, any worthlessness that's initiating is going to rob rob you of the playfulness, of the joy, of the exploration and curiosity. Just that horrible need to just start stinking up the place and creates all these glitches. And that's that really like that one step forward equals 3 steps back, that creates the whole mess. That's worthlessness. I have this really wonderful client that I work with on the regular, and she says to me, "I'm sorry, Kiran, I just missed everything you said. I glitched out." And gosh, I just love that so much. I love that she calls out when that worthlessness sort of took over the moment. And I love, because it's like I've been like, and you decoders know this, and you guys know this, like it takes you right out. And then you're out of the moment, you're out of reality, you're out of like, I didn't even hear what you said, Kiran. And it's it's just really funny when Pain takes the wheel and then everything goes blank.
Could you repeat that again? Because I was somewhere else. But honestly, that happens to me daily. I can definitely relate.
And as I'm listening to both of you, I'm just realizing how pulling the plug of this whole hamster wheel also has a lot to do with seeing over and over and over and over and over again how if you initiate from a pain body, let's say if you initiate from unworthy, Kiran would say it only has one set of tracks and it only drives towards more unworthy. It's never going to end up where he wants to end up. Like it has this one set of tracks. And if you initiate from unworthy, you're going to end up in more unworthy. It's never, ever going to end up somewhere else. And I feel like the more you see that, the more you might not initiate from unworthy. But it's like, yeah.
You won't get one more certificate.
You would finally drop signing up for courses you don't need and only go to the ones that are delicious, because sometimes it is delicious to take a course. It is delicious to do a certification, education, something, but not because I need to become, because I need to have an impact. So it's totally different.
Yeah, and it feels so different.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's so much more freedom to just do what feels good and alive if you just swipe that little stinker purpose off the plate altogether. Just like, nah, don't need it. Drop it.
Yeah, so there's really nothing to do. Once again, you don't have to do anything. Purpose is inbuilt, it's inherent to your existence. And basta, like, stop it. Stop the looking for it.
And when we let that message land, just as you guys are saying, repeating the same thing, it's like, imagine you're like 4 years old and you're never being mirrored that purpose is a thing, right? So there's just the freedom to play, explore, get a certificate that's hell yes, or take it, like if we can just take it right off the table completely, like if it never came up in your life ever, can you all feel the freedom that lands you in? Like, whoa, you suddenly have so much more depth and breadth to just be here, and this is the message we keep saying, but it's really that invite to bring home the amount of freedom that starts to open up when we can take that off the to-do list, when we can take purpose off.
I would have never have believed it when I first started working with Kiran, that these little moments of just like what's delicious, what's true and alive right now would be the breadcrumbs, which have actually led me to like a very fulfilled life where I feel very, very utilized. And I mean, it's kind of things I could only dream of as a kid. I'm actually having a full circle moment right now because when I was little, I used to go to this exhibition every year at this big gallery, and it was my favorite. I used to absolutely love it. And I maybe even might have dared to say out loud, like, one day I'd like to exhibit here. And I got accepted. not too long ago with a painting, a portrait I did last year. So this piece is going to be hanging in my favorite gallery in the world, and it's just absolutely beyond me how this could even be a possibility. And the funny thing is that when I was painting it was just such a joy. It was just like showing up to do a mark that day because it felt good. Like there wasn't really an end goal or anything. It was just like, just really, really alive. And when I look at the portrait now, it's a total mystery how it got made. Like it sort of still, I'm wowed by it, if I can say that, because I don't know who did it in a way. Like it's just a total mystery how these things came together. It's almost like it had nothing to do with me. I just sort of showed up on the day and made little marks, and then life put together this like much broader.
I think it's so great to bring this in, right? So here now is a portrait that I think most of the world is wowed by. Obviously, it's hanging in one of the most prestigious galleries in the world. And it's an extraordinary moment, but it doesn't ricochet back to you as worthiness or purpose. It's
No.
ricocheting back to you as like mystery and emptiness and unknown. And, you know, like I would say the same, like a lot of people will ask me, like, how did you become the greatest living spiritual teacher? You know, like, how did you become, you know, and it's like what brought you there? And I'll be like, I don't know. Like recently someone specifically asked me, like, when did you know this is what you wanted to do? And I was like, dude, I'll get back to you when that ever arises. It hasn't happened yet. like literally exactly what Cami's saying, right? All I was ever doing was sitting in my delicious, which was honest to God, never felt like anything. The sense of me doing was so wiped out. And it was literally just this warm, whether it was a sweater or coffee or weeding the garden. People, I spent a lot of hours of my life weeding gardens, like just laying on the ground. And so these little breadcrumbs led up to this moment, but I can't even hold in my hand what this moment is. It's still grains of sand spilling through. There's nothing being held here, but it's the very lack of nothingness that both creates the full utilization for me and the joy and the play and the delicious, that it equals something, that it added up and built this sort of like thing is none of my business, has never been part of my business.
You're so right. Like getting accepted into this exhibition, it's not because I became an artist or became anything. It's also, it doesn't feel like it's giving me anything. It's still like all in the hands of God. It's like actually deleting the identity of the artist or like any identity. That's what, I don't know, it like clears your plate. And then when life fills it, it does it in much more miraculous, spectacular ways that you wouldn't have dreamed for yourself. I think that's the huge win, really, like when life gets to color in your coloring book.
And for me, my breadcrumbs, my delicious, and just staying in the moment led to something Unworthy never thought of as well. She was so convinced, you know, I'm a yoga teacher, I'm a teacher, maybe I should be like Kiran. And then there were no roots growing from that. It didn't go anywhere. And at some point, it just crumbled enough to see like, oh, and it was in sessions with Kiran, of course, best coach ever, that I saw I'm not a teacher, I'm a healer. I'm an energy healer. And it's something that just comes so naturally, something that's so effortless, delicious, sort of ordinary for me, that I never thought that that's it, because it was too easy. It's nothing I can sort of, hold as an eye. And so let's keep looking for something else. But then it landing in the truth of, oh yeah, right. It was sitting under my nose the whole time. It's such an exhale. It's so delicious. It's so beautiful that there's nothing an eye could hold as proof for purpose or worth. Yeah, huge fulfillment.
I think that you decoders might have, windmills you're chasing and the story of climbing a mountain to save the world and walking past something so organically a part of your being that's there in full utilization of you, but only in the present moment, only like right now.
Yeah.
Only in that deep, delicious, yes, that deep exhale right now. And gosh, the best advice we could say is like, go take the purpose course. It's a great class. We'll link the course in the show notes. But also, obviously, it's lovely to go get a session with Leela if you can too, to help unpack and the mental stories and land you deeper in your system to help find those moment to moment utilizations. So, and then always our invitation, decoders, is go out there in the world and watch. You can see in your coworkers and in your family and in your community when people are trying, when they're doing or their actions or their execution is so removed from the moment, from life, from a real flow, that it just keeps glitching and it keeps disconnecting and it makes effort everywhere and just problems. And that's how we know worthlessness is in the seat, in the driver's seat. So I guess that's all for now. We'll see you next week. Much love.
Bye, decoders.
Looking forward. Talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening. We obviously love hearing what you think. Your feedback helps us make a better show for you to listen to. So feel free to comment, and you can do it at Facebook, which is the Humans Decoded podcast. And if you're not on social, you can always email any questions to us at outreach@kirantrace.com. And thanks for listening. We love you.